Alright, so these are the corrections for version B, quiz number 13. This is a live video. You don't want your name to be spoken during this, okay? Alright, so I give you guys 2 points. 1 point for writing your first name, and another point for writing your last name legibly, meaning I can read it. You got 1 point for correctly circling the right period. Question number 1, true or false? Question number 2 below, so here's the question right here, has a greatest common factor, GCF. Okay? Remember, a GCF, you just put it into the box, and you'll notice that they have, there's nothing in common, so the answer is false. It doesn't have a GCF. Question number 2, factor completely. So your A value is 1, B value is 2, C value is negative 15. A times C is negative 15, B value is 2. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 15 but add to be a positive 2, this will be a negative. Now put this top left, always there. Bottom right, these two terms, add an x, negative 3x. And you just figure out what they have in common. So this row has an x in common, this row has an x in common. X times negative 3 gives you negative 3x, and x times 5 gives you 5x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So your answer is x plus 5, x minus 3, that would be choice A. Remember, when your A value is equal to 1, you actually already have the answers here. You see it? Question number 3, same thing. In this problem, though, notice how all the problems have a 2 in front, or even. So there, you're going to have to take out your GCF. 2x, x, 2x, 2 times 6. So there is your greatest common factor. Your GCF is a 2. What you don't have in common is x squared plus x, and then the 6 here is a negative. Then with inside the parentheses, your A value is 1, B value is 1, C value is negative 6. A times C is negative 6, B value is 1, two numbers that multiply to be negative 6, but also add to be a positive 1, that would be a negative 2 and a positive 3. Here you can put it into your box. Again, you're looking inside the parentheses there. X squared minus 6, negative 2x, and 3x. This will become x and x. This will be negative 2. This will be a positive 3. So when you're writing out your whole answer, your answer is going to be 2, because you have to have your GCF, times x minus 2, x plus 3. And if I look for those, x minus 2, x plus 3, that would be choice D. Okay, I could have made the problem more difficult by putting x minus 2, x plus 3 as one of your multiple choice answers. Don't forget that too. Question number 4, 15y squared plus 16y plus 4. So A is 15. B is 16 and C is 4. A times C is 60, B value is 16. Good strategies if you don't know them, list out all the factors. Write the bigger number on the left so you can easily subtract. Those two numbers are 10 and 6. 10 times 6 is 60, and 10 plus 6 is 16. Fill out your box. 15y squared, C value is 4, 10y, and 6y. Now it's going to have to be 5 times 3, right? Well, notice here I can't put a 5 here. I can't put a 5 there because 5 goes into 15, but 5 does not go into 6. So I'm going to put the 5 up here. And I'll put the 3 here. Right? 3 goes into 15. 3 goes into 6. So 3y times something equals 6y. That'll be a positive 2. 2 plus 3y equals 6y. It's like a multiplication table. 5y times 2 will give me 10y, and 2 times 2 gives me 4. So my factors are 5y plus 2. What happened? 5y plus 2. Oh, and 3y plus 2. My answer is B. Remember, for multiple choice questions, you can basically guess, and you don't have to show me the work, but you probably don't want to sit there and guess on questions. Question number 5, factor x squared minus 4. So I wrote the space there because there is no b value. So on the b value, you might want to just add a 0. So your a value here is 1, b value is 0, and your c value is negative 4. I am recording a live video. A times c is negative 4, your b value is 0. When you're trying to think of two numbers that add to be 0, they have to be the same exact number, but one has to be positive, one's negative. Positive 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 2 plus negative 2 equals 0. So remember again, the shortcut is if a value is equal to 1, you don't actually need to do the box. X plus 2, x minus 2 is your answer. That's choice B. If you notice in this quiz, there's actually two versions, and if you're just trying to copy someone next to you, what I do is I switch up the answers and I switch the things. So you might actually see the same answer. I might just change the math operation. It actually changes the whole problem. Question number 6. Factor 2x plus x squared minus 3. This is a not, I don't know, we just call it no order, out of order. You put it in descending order, x squared plus 2x minus 3. That's in standard form. So your a value is 1, b is 2, c is negative 3. Okay. Now I need to think of a times c, negative 3, b value is 2. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 3, but also add to be 2. Those are 3 and negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 3 times 3 plus negative 1 equals a positive 2. So that would be choice E. Okay, again, you can put it into the box and you get the same two answers. X squared, negative 3, 3x, negative x, negative 1x. This would be x, this would be 3, and this will be a negative 1, and notice how those are the same as those right there. Alright, so this side, 2 points for your name, 1 point for the period, and 6 multiple choice questions. 6 times 2 is 12, so that would be 15 points for the front side. Back side. I have x squared plus x squared minus 6x plus 9. That's a typo there. It shouldn't be there, but you already know it's a 1. A value is 1, b is negative 6, c is 9. A times c is 9, b value is negative 6. Two numbers that multiply to be a positive 9 but add to be a negative 6. That's negative 3 and negative 3. Remember, the shortcut again is if a is equal to 1, you don't have to do the box. Your answers are x minus 3, x minus 3. Or if you wrote x minus 3 squared, that's better. Either of these you get full credit. Question number 8. You have x squared minus 64. So you should write that as x squared plus 0x minus 64. And you put that in a quadratic. They call that standard form. So your a value is 1, b value is 0, c value is negative 64. You got it wrong if you wrote any variables. So if you wrote x squared here, wrong. It's the number in front. It's called a coefficient. Those are 1 point apiece. I told you guys when you took the quiz to cross off the 9 and write a, so you just need to factor this. Well, you already have your a, b, and c. Negative 64 and 0. The two factors of 64 are 64 and 1, 32 and 2, 4 and 16, 8 and 8. Did I miss any? Okay, so my two numbers are going to be 8 and 8. One of those has to be positive, one has to be negative. And so your answer is x plus 8, x minus 8. It's called difference of squares. And if you're putting that into the box, it's the same thing. X squared, negative 64. Then you just put in these two numbers that we just put into the x. So I have 8x, negative 8x. So that's x, x, 8, and negative 8. And you'll notice they're there and there. Okay? Question number 9. 24x to the 4th minus 16x to the 3rd. Did you notice that when doing the a, b, and c's, they always have the power of 2? A, b, and c, power of 2, right? If you look at the last two questions, they don't have a power of 2. So the question is, how do I get it to the power of 2? Well, if you look at your, on the board, we have kind of 6 steps that help you. Set equal to 0. This is only when you see the word solve. The second thing you should always do is the greatest common factor, which basically means break it up. 24 is going to be 8 times 3. And then x, x, x. 16 is going to be 8 times 2, x, x, x. You got an 8 here. You have circle 2. I guess I can circle 3 x's, so that's x to the 3rd power. And then what we didn't circle is 3x. The math operation is minus, and you have a 2. This expression is equivalent to this expression. Now, if you notice inside the parentheses, this is not a quadratic problem. It's not to the power of 2, so you can't take a, b, and c. You're pretty much done here. Okay. For question number 10, so set it equal to 0. If you're ever going to solve, which is not on this quiz, take the GCF. So in this problem, let's figure out there's a GCF. 3 times x times x times x, 5 times x times x, 2 times x. My GCF there is an x. Then what's inside the parentheses is just 3x squared. The math operation here is minus, this one's plus. So I have 5x, negative 5x plus 2. The next thing you're going to do on your steps are you're going to find the x. We're going to do the box. We forgot to find the ABCs. So 3 is ABCs. 4 do the x. 5 do the box. And 6, which is not on this quiz, you can use the 0 product rule. Right? Alright, finish this problem up. You're going to focus inside the parentheses. So there, my a value is 3, b is negative 5, and my c value is 2. Do the x, a times c, that'll become a positive 6. B value is negative 5. Two numbers that multiply together to be positive 6, but add to be a negative 5 are negative 2 and negative 3. A lot of you guys chose 1 and 6. It doesn't work. Remember, you guys are allowed to use your regular calculators. Let's do the box. Always top left, 3x squared. Positive 2 always goes in the bottom right. These two numbers, just put it there, and an x. And I need to figure out if the 3 is going to go onto the left or the top. I'm going to pick the left because I notice they both have a 3 there. So 3x, this is an x. X times negative 2 gives you negative 2x. This is going to be a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3x gives you a negative 3x. Common mistake there is to put like a negative x. You can't have two x's there. Negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2. So our answer is, don't forget the GCF, which is an x. And then you have x minus 1, 3x minus 2. You got 2 points if you found the GCF as an x. If you got this as your answer but left off the x, I give you 3 out of 4. Last one is our Ken or Inky. I'm surprised that so many students are still missing these, so I'm going to do these. Remember, I need to use the digits 1 to 4. And the first thing I'm going to do is all the freebies. So I see a 1 here. I now need to think of two numbers that add up to be 3. Well, the only two numbers are 1 and 2, but I can't put a 1 here because I'll be repeating, so that'll be a 2. I need 3 numbers here that add up to be an 11. Well, the only answers are 4, 4, and 3. I can't put two 4s next to each other, so I'm going to have to separate them and put the 3 in that corner. Notice there's no numbers that are repeating. I need 3 numbers that multiply to be 4, and notice that this is already a 4, so I can't do 1, 4, and 1, so let's do 2, 1, and 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is still 4. What number is missing here, class? 1. What number is missing there? 3 plus 1 equals 4. What number is missing there? Got a 3 there. I need to add up to be 7, so minus 3, so I need 7. How do I add this up to be 7? 3 and 4. What number is missing?
4 and 2.
And 4 here. 4 times 2 is 8. Notice there's no repeating numbers. No repeating numbers. So the backside was out of 23 points. 23 plus 15 gives you out of 38. So if it says something else on your paper, it's okay. It's always out of 38.